We met in school and kept in touch on and off afterward because we went to different places. We got back in regular touch around 2 years ago, and now we meet regularly, like twice a week, starting a year ago. I have never considered him someone I would be interested in at all. But now I'm like, am I catching feelings for this guy? Some backstory. He's been there for me when I got my heart broken and betrayed by close friends. I just found out recently that he didn't like dessert. But when I was really sad, he took me out for ice cream at Ben& Jerry's and listened to me pour my heart out. He even had drinks with me when I needed that kind of support. Once we were at my place with another friend, and I was just lying on the couch while he spoke to that friend. I was sleepy, but he was stroking my head and playing with my hair. I just had a moment of realization that I think I caught feelings for him. When we hung out one-on-one a few weeks ago, somehow things sort of connected in my head. All the times I put in effort for the wrong people and it backfired on me, this guy was there to reassure me, and it's making me question many things. I am so overwhelmed by the response I've been getting here and feeling all nice and fuzzy reading all the successful stories. Thank you for sharing bits of your life. Keep them coming. In January 2020, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said yes. Story 1, we were just friends for 2 years. Both of us dated other people. We were hanging out one day and we're both single. She started dropping hints. I picked them up, and now we've been dating for over a year. Story 2. Yup, my girlfriend and I have been friends for years. We were casual for a while and she was going on Tinder dates, which I was fine with. One day she said she was texting a Tinder date and I felt jealous. Another day she said she was going on a date and I felt my stomach sink. And I knew. I asked her out and she said, maybe, give me some time to think. Then she got back to me a few hours later with a yes. We've been together now for 8 months and it's the best relationship I've ever had. We were actually talking about this last night and I asked about when she knew she had feelings for me. She said she and her roommate were talking and she goes, these Tinder boys are all weird. Why can't I date someone like free-range asparagus? Her roommate goes, free-range asparagus like so and so. And my girlfriend goes, F is K. It's a good time. Go for it. Edit. We've been together for almost 3.5 years now. Story 3. I heard a song, and the lyrics just hit me that I was in love with my best friend. When I told him, he actually didn't want to risk our friendship, but then he changed his mind 2 days later. We've been together for over 17 years now, and he's still my best friend. Story 4. My wife and I were friends for 4 years and not that interested in each other despite our friends all telling us we should date. One day we realized that we had spent pretty much every free minute together for the past few months and had the "are we dating? And if not, should we?" conversation. That was 10 years ago. Best relationship I have ever had. Story 5. It's hard to know when. It was just kind of like I thought she was pretty but never considered dating her. But if she asked, I would have, you know? And then over time it kind of became a crush, but I was hesitant to walk the line between friends and a relationship because she was important to me. Over time it just kind of happened, I guess. We were watching a movie at her place and got really close on the couch and started holding hands. The next day I stupidly asked her if she liked anyone. She said she liked me, and we just went for it. Going a couple of years strong now. Our relationship has none of the drama, none of the insecurities, none of that type of stuff I see so often among my friends' relationships. We get along like best friends, poke fun and roast and compete, but are also intimate. I wouldn't have it any other way. Story 6. I did develop feelings for a female friend in my teens, but she was in a relationship at that time. After some time, she broke up and tried to be in a relationship with me, but I lost my feelings for her, so nothing major developed after that. The thing that I learned about myself is that I need time to get to know someone and develop any feelings at all. Story 7. I'm a guy, and I can confirm by that action that he is into you. I was tipsy and sleepy, but he was stroking my head and playing with my hair. Better tell him how you feel, because if I do that to a girl, I know she can be a potential partner. Story 8. My husband and I started out as best friends and ended up falling for each other. I caught feelings gradually, and I was trying to fight it because I was insistent on being focused on my classes. But I had a moment of realization. I made a list of all the traits I wanted in a partner. I don't remember why. I think I read about it in some book. And I realized I had basically just described him to a T. When he gets home from work, I'll add his answer. Answer for my husband. You were a cute girl who liked the same things and was willing to spend time with me for extended periods of time. It didn't take much. Story 9. Had one class with her in 10th grade, which is age 15 to 16 for non-Americans. Came back next year and pretty quickly developed a crush on her. She clearly did not feel the same way. 2 years later, someone told me she had feelings for me and I never stopped having feelings for her. Asked her out and we are at 3.5 years. We live together and I hope to marry her. Story 10. I have only ever found people I have had bonds with for years romantically or sexually interesting. The few serious relationships I have had were built on years of friendship. I met my current boyfriend in 2010 as a sophomore in high school, and we were close until going separate ways for college. We accidentally reconnected while trying to pick up pre-med prerequisites coincidentally at the same local college after earning our first bachelor's degrees. We started hanging out regularly for studying purposes when, after a particularly bad day, I told him to bring some wine to my apartment. I warned him that I get really cuddly and touchy-feely after drinking though. Well, an hour later, we were making out on my couch. This continued for months before his mother, whom I had met numerous times while going over to study with him at his place, got frustrated and confused by the nature of our relationship and just introduced me to the rest of his family as his girlfriend. We just kind of shrugged and went with it. We have been together officially for over 1.5 years now. Story 11. I came here to post something similar, although I am male. If someone is willing to listen, Maria and I have been friends since college. When we met, we instantly clicked and hung out all the time, to the point where it made my ex-girlfriend uncomfortable, which I understood. I was in a long-term relationship during college for 5.5 years. Since graduating, I parted ways with my ex-girlfriend, and Maria was the first one there for me. She took me to dinner and drinks, even though she was dating someone else. Recently, Maria and her boyfriend broke up a couple of months ago, so I did the same thing for her. Whenever we hang out, we get together before the rest of the group arrives for a couple of hours. We've been friends for a long time, and it's the first time we are single at the same time. I really don't want to ruin our current relationship, but at the same time, I don't want to miss signals. Or I could just be being naive. Story 12. There's this person in my life who is my best friend. They totally understand me, they get all of my idiosyncrasies, and they love me for who I am anyway. We get along so well. Every moment I spend with them is super fun and enjoyable. We share a lot of the same interests, and even the ones we don't are very complementary. I feel like I could tell them anything, and they would just get me. They've always been supportive of me no matter what my plans or goals were. I know that at a moment's notice, if I had an emergency, they are the first person I would go to. They would never do anything to hurt me, and they always put my feelings above their own. Add love and intimacy to that, and you've just described a perfect relationship. It amazes me when people talk about being afraid to fall in love with their best friend because that person is your best friend for a reason. Story 13. Met my fiancée 3 years ago. We were friends for a while. We were good friends, but we live over 9,000 kilometers away from each other. She liked me almost from the start and let me know, but I had recommended not to date because she would probably be sad. I had a girlfriend before I met her, and we were together for 1.5 years. In the end, she felt that I saw her more as a best friend than a girlfriend, and we decided not to continue the romantic part of the relationship. We're still friends though. I'm autistic, so I don't handle emotions well, but here's what happened. Without noticing, I'd been increasing communication with her for, according to her, about 3 weeks before we started dating. 2 or 3 days before, my brain started acting weird, worrying that I said something to make her sad, even though her behavior hadn't really changed. There are sometimes a few days between replies because she works at a stressful company and is exhausted. Normally, I tell my brain that that's ridiculous, and it would stop worrying. This time, it didn't. Those 2 nights, I barely got any sleep at all. When you have a sudden, unexpected change in behavior, you look for the cause. No risk of carbon monoxide poisoning, diet hadn't changed, stress was about the same. Maybe cancer? So I sent her a message letting her know that something was up. She replied that it sounded like I liked her. I told her she's biased, but just in case she's right, let's try dating. Well, she was right. It turns out that she's the first person that I ever loved that way, as opposed to as a friend. We're closing the distance in just over 100 days. She's flying over to live with me. Story 14. I had a thing for this girl named Madison, so I started spending time with her. She introduced me to her brother, Max, and we started hanging out. We are both into outdoor type things like camping and hiking, so we did that a lot together. We went camping one day and we only had one hammock, so we decided to lie in it together. Lying there with him in the woods, forced to be that close to each other, made me realize that I might be gay and I might have a thing for him. We've been together for 2 years now. Story 15. I can pinpoint the exact moment I realized I had feelings for one of my friends. I was at the second day of the Electric Daisy Carnival with a group of friends. The guy at the time was someone I had known for perhaps a year and a half. We were introduced by a mutual friend of ours, and while we weren't necessarily close or anything, we could definitely enjoy each other's company and shared many a drunk night doing the whole "you're worth so much and you deserve happiness" speeches. I should probably mention at this time we're both guys, and I'm openly out to all of my friends as being gay. He is not gay. Anyway, we were camping at the Electric Daisy Carnival and were spending a total of 4 nights there. Through this time, we were constantly around each other and ended up harboring a really close friendship due to that. We share a wide range of interests, and he is honestly one of the most respectable and caring people I know. He has a very ride-or-die attitude with his friends and a really great sense of humor that was pretty on par with my own. I remember we were at one of the stages enjoying music and dancing, well, all of us except for him because the poor guy had no rhythm. In an attempt to help him, I guided him through feeling out the music and getting a sense of the beat. After some trial and error, he actually caught on and showed some considerable improvement, to which my group and some outsiders who were watching cheered on. So much so that after the next few songs, he put his arm around me and patted my side, yelling "thank you" into my ear. I gave him a thumbs up and a smile, to which he nodded and pulled his arm away. But for a brief moment as he was doing that, he caught my gaze, and we just looked at each other. Now, I know it was only about 2 seconds, but that moment lasted literally forever for me. The music completely deafened and my vision almost tunneled onto him. He gave me a little smirk and patted my shoulder, leaving his hand there for another brief moment before returning to dancing to the music. The first thought I was able to conjure up in my head was, wow. Took me a while to readjust myself. I never saw myself as liking him. I generally mentally prepare myself for that sort of thing with any of my straight male friends. But yikes. Ever since that exchange, I've crushed on him pretty hard. Granted, we never got into anything romantic. I know he's straight and I would never do anything to coerce him into liking me back. But a lot of my friends in the group have caught on, and it has become a sort of inside joke, and as far as I'm aware, he's oblivious to it. Sorry for the long post. Reading some of these comments gave me a sort of post-traumatic stress to that night, and I felt compelled to share. Story 16. Day 1 I've met her, I had a huge feeling. All she had to do was be near me, but I remembered how my past romantic relationships that didn't start as friendships ended with cheating and not working due to too many differences that made me act like someone I'm not. Back to the woman, we met in the same program and I kept my distance to not catch feelings, which worked for 2 years. But as we progressively got more involved with each other, I just couldn't resist anymore. So I gathered my courage and asked her out. Today we're still together and she is simply the best I could ask for in a woman. Story 17. My husband and I are celebrating 12 years together next week. We are best friends before we are lovers, and I honestly believe that's the key to a good romantic relationship. We've experienced a lot of hardships over the years, a lot of family deaths. I was very sick, we both got laid off, we started a business together. But as friends, we've always been there to help each other through it all. Chances are, this guy has felt the same way about you for a while, so just test the waters and see what happens. Good luck. Story 18, have a talk about it. Read the situation and relationship. You know better than we do. As for experience, I had a really good friend for whom I had feelings, but he didn't. After some space, we stayed good friends. He helped me in my bad relationships and overall was just a great friend to have. Over time, he actually ended up having feelings for me in return, and we slowly introduced the idea of dating. Things moved slowly, but we eventually ended up in a very happy relationship with a solid foundation because we were really good friends. We're married now and really happy together. It doesn't always have to end. Can be a wonderful thing. We just both had to be honest about what we wanted and communicated a lot. Just weigh the pros and cons and talk to him. Story 19. My partner of 4 years started out as my friend. We would hang out with a group of our coworkers, and at first, I never thought of her as someone I would be romantically interested in. Then we all went to a concert one night and were having a great time dancing together when she gave me this look, and we both knew it was something more. I questioned whether I was reading into it too much and doubted whether I should risk ruining the friendship. But the next time we spent time together one-on-one, I kissed her. I'm so glad I did. She's my everything now, and I know I make her really happy too. Your partner should be your best friend. Don't be afraid to date someone just because you were friends first. Story 20. My husband and I were friends first. We were both dating other people when we first met. We were friends for a couple of years. I always thought he was cute, but I never considered him more than a friend. He was such a good friend. I was in the process of moving, and he was so helpful. As a thank you, I took him to lunch. We talked for about 4 hours and made plans for the next night. And the rest is history. 6 years and 2 babies later,